Whoa, what a ride. What a rush. Oh, bonsoir. So, good evening, good day. But of course, I hope everyone's doing great. I hope everyone is healthy and did not eat too much of those candies of your kids or your own. Um, So, Merry Christmas, everyone. So, go outside and take your Christmas stuff out. Get your tree ready. Donc, c'est ça, hein? Noël s'en vient à grands pas. Donc, commencez à magasiner, là, parce que c'est important. Il faut faire rouler l'économie. We have to make the economy roll. Let's roll. J'espère vraiment que tout le monde va bien. This week, we've talked about the fact that we were supposed to do Andor episode 7 and 8, but I decided to do only 7 because I want to talk about the Tales of the Jedi. Donc, je veux parler cette semaine de Tales of the Jedi. Donc, nous allons seulement que parler de Andor épisode 7 et c'est ça. Fait qu'on verra où est-ce que tout ça va s'en aller. Pour Tale of the Jedi, je ne vais pas faire de spoilers. There's no spoilers ahead on Tales of the Jedi. I just want to talk about it a little. I won't tell anything about most of the story, just general stuff. And after that, we'll talk about episode 7 of Andor, and eventually, probably in a few weeks or next week, well, probably not next week, but in a few weeks, we'll do episode 8 and probably episode 9. So we'll see. Donc, c'est ça. Fait que cette semaine, on fait seulement qu'épisode 7 d'Andor. Mais on va parler de Tale of the Jedi. Tales of the Jedi. So yesterday, I ate way too fucking much candy. Yeah. I don't know if you saw my post on Facebook about Halloween. I did a few, in fact. And I found something that really made me laugh. Instead of giving candy away, why don't you guys give out those little fuckers, les sachets, the little condiment baggie that you receive at McDonald's and everywhere else? Good evening, King Turkey. I'm King Turkey. J'adore ça. I love it, man. Joe Ferraro, my friend, good to see you. I have no clue if we're only going to be 1 or going to be 100. I don't care. I'm doing it anyway. So, yeah, why don't we give away our little McDonald's stuff and la sauce soya sauce? There you go. They'll never come back. What the fuck this guy gave me, man? It's funny because I'm living like somewhere where there's like regular people, like working class people with regular lives, and a few blocks from here it's like the rich people, like the houses. They're not houses, they're like fucking castles. And I always said to my little daughter, well, my daughter is not little anymore. My daughter, like, we're going to go over there. They're probably going to give away iPads. Fuck the candies. I want some iPads and computers. Like, here you go. Here's my last year iPhone because I just changed it and I don't fucking care. Anyway, enough of the cursing. Donc, let's talk about Tales of the Jedi. Well, it's good. I'm not going to say I was afraid of it. A little. And I've watched the first episode and I said, is it going to be like that all the way through? Even if they're really short. You can listen to them very quickly before you go to bed or whatever. You can do whatever you want. But the thing is, It's interesting because it's really tales, and where it's coming from the comics. Donc, les Tales of the Jedi, ça vient vraiment des comic books qu'ils avaient sorti des Dark Horses, Dork, Dark, is it Dark Horses? I don't remember. And donc, c'est ça, ça vient vraiment des comic books. Et puis, c'est intéressant parce que ça raconte vraiment deux histoires en particulier des Jedi lorsqu'ils étaient plus jeunes. So it's worth it. Ça vaut la peine d'être vu. Don't let the first episode drag you down, because at the end of this first episode, now the emojis are working. Oh, I love emojis. Let me see. Yeah, because I'm the King Turkey, man. King Turkey. I just love it. So don't let the first episode, don't judge everything on the first episode. Donc, écoutez, ne laissez-vous pas draguer down avec le premier épisode, parce que moi, j'ai fait comme, vraiment, là. C'est comme, ouais, OK. Mais it gets better afterward. I'm not saying that the first episode is not good. It's okay. It's okay. But it's like, if you're like me, you're going to think, oh, man, really? But you'll see. For the rest, it's really, really good. I enjoyed all the episode and wasn't expecting much. Yeah, well, that's probably what I was thinking too. And I was surprised. I was surprised. It's really good. It's worth a shot. And the funny thing is, well, it's not funny, but the good thing is, at the end, I was saying to myself, that's a cool way to give us more information, because we learned a lot of stuff. We learn a lot of stuff from the main story. So that's good. It brings something new, and it brings something well-founded, if I could use that word. Donc, c'est ça, ça apporte vraiment quelque chose d'intéressant, puis ça vient vraiment mettre un plus, je dirais, ça nous donne plus d'infos sur the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy and stuff. So it's good. It's good. It's good. Like I said, first episode, the rest, pretty good. And I want to see more. Why not? The great thing also is the fact that it's Dave Filoni that tells the story. So that I'm not going to say he cannot be wrong, but that he based everything on what George taught him. Donc, Dave Filoni, qui a fait pas mal de tous ces épisodes-là, et on sait à quel point qu'il était proche avec George. Fait que ce qu'il nous raconte, c'est vraiment intéressant, parce que c'est pas genre, OK, on va rajouter ça, puis ça va être comme un micro-turbine. Non, ça se tient. Everything that they show us makes sense. Well, except for first episode. Yeah. So that's what I want to say about this. It was pretty short. But it's good. It's worth your time. It's worth every little minutes that it lasts. So that's it. À part ça, qu'est-ce qu'il y a d'autre de spécial? Ben, il n'y a pas grand-chose d'autre de spécial. Je voulais pas passer les 2 épisodes d'Andor parce que je suis toujours en train de courir après mon temps. Donc, I didn't want to do both episodes today on Andor. And it's funny because my girlfriend told me today, she asked me, what are you going to talk about tonight? And I said, I'm going to talk about Andor and Tales of the Jedi. And she said, well, it's going away from the vintage kids, the reason why you're doing this. And I said to myself, yeah, she's right, but she's right in a way. The reason, yes, I it's about collecting and stuff, but it's also everything Star Wars. It's also everything geeky. I want to talk about stuff that drives us to go back to this universe, go back to the Marvel universe, go whatever universe you're in. Donc, ma blonde me disait aujourd'hui, ouais, de quoi tu vas parler? Je dis, ben, tu vas parler de Andor. Elle dit, ouais, mais tu sembles que tu t'éloignes un peu de Vintage Kids. Tu sais, tu parles pas de vintage, c'est pas du vintage stuff. Mais j'ai dit, ouais, t'as raison, mais à quelque part, je veux pas seulement parler du vintage parce qu'il y a autre chose. C'est pas juste le vintage, pas juste la collection qui nous attire, c'est tout l'univers en tant que tel. Tu sais. Bon, fait que c'est un peu pour ça que je fais les épisodes d'Andor comme je les fais. Puis je trouve que la façon que je vous les présente, c'est intéressant. Si c'était pas moi qui le faisais, j'aimerais ça avoir cette manière-là de me le faire présenter. Parce que souvent, on le voit comme juste de first glance, the first way we see it. We don't necessarily take the time, or we don't necessarily have the eye, or I'm not going to say the patience, but to analyze everything. And I love to do this, and I can't help myself. So that's the reason why I'm doing this. And once again, I'm not going to tell the story. Je ne vais pas vous parler de l'histoire. Je vais vraiment seulement qu'apporter certains points sur ce que moi j'ai remarqué dans l'épisode 7. I'm just going to point out some stuff again. And yes, eventually we'll do more comics, not comics. We're going to do more collecting stuff. We're going to go back to Black Series. We're going to go back to vintage. We're going to go back to Marvel, Star Wars, Mandalorian, and not necessarily always talk about episodes of stuff that are available on Disney Plus or whatever. I receive stuff every week for my collection, and I present them to you on Yoda's workshop. So I don't spend any time on the Vintage Kid to show you guys these things. Tell her it's future vintage. You're ahead of your curve. You're totally right. I'm going to write that down. So I don't necessarily show the stuff that I receive on the Vintage Kids. I really want to do this with trying to do my best to stay on one or two different subjects. But hey, man, it could be anything. So we can talk about anything. So I don't mind. And like I said, once again, I'm not here for viewers. I'm here for fun. If you guys want to join me and spend an hour, that's okay. If you don't have time, or you think I'm fucking boring, that's okay too. I'm still going to do this until I'm really, really out of subjects to talk. And God knows I talk way too much. Well, I used to. Now I do less of talking, but I just can't stop talking. So this week is brought to you by... No, it's not true. Okay, so let's do this. And like I said, we'll be back with more episodes on collecting stuff. And I once again, I really want you guys to give me subjects that you might be interested to talk about. And if you are a whiz on whatever subject you love, if you're interested to join me on the Vintage Kids, let me know. I'll be happy to have you as a guest. And we'll chat for an hour and talk about your passion. That's the reason why I'm doing this. So let's go on Andor. Whoa! So once again, I'm going to... starting soon. I'm going to put... Nope. See? That's your comment right there. I can put up comments of people. Let me take this out and put this in. There you go. I'm not the best at this yet, but I'm doing the best I can. Oh, see, I'm right here. I'm right there. Hi. Okay, so I'm going to take my notes. I'm going to go through this. Once again, I'm not going to tell you the story of what happened on episode 7. There are spoilers ahead, but I'm just going to show you images and talk to you about what I see, what I've liked, what I might imagine that is happening on the show. So, yeah. So as usual, we still start with a different music, and this is amazing. The guy Nicholas something that wrote the music did an amazing job, and for this one and episode 8, we'll talk about in another week. The music is constantly evolution on music. So that's interesting again. Next picture is this one. And this is interesting also because, as we've seen in other episodes of the Vintage where we're talking about Andor, we saw this shot before, and Karn was actually looking at the sun, and I've explained everything about the fact that he's living in the mid or lower section of Coruscant, and the lower that you live, the fewer time you cannot see the sun. The only sun he's able to see, it's a reflection on buildings. So he's not really seeing the real sun, it's only reflections. And this time, it doesn't show anything. He's waiting for the sun, but the sun doesn't show up. And for me, that means that he's actually in a state where he's feeling more and more lower in his head, more bad, and he's in the lower part. I'm not gonna, je sais pas comment le dire en anglais. He's in a hole. He's an emotional hole. C'est comme dans une grosse dépression. Puis là, il voit même plus le soleil. Fait que ça, c'est intéressant qu'il nous rapporte cette même image-là, mais que cette fois-ci, il n'y a rien. Ça fait que c'est en train de nous dire, genre, il va pas bien, le gars. He's not feeling well. Of course, we're back with that fucking mom. And she still do the same thing. He's still after him. She's still after him. And one thing is, I'm gonna say everything that she says, but the cool thing is that we can actually see that Karn change once again his uniform, and that means something. At first, like, okay, he's kind of doing his own way, where he can do it, because as we've learned, he's all doing this for his family, well, his mom or whatever, and he's going against his will, kinda. This is not what he wants in life. So he changed his uniform again. So it's kind of a way to rebel. C'est une façon de rebeller qui a changé encore son uniforme. Fait qu'à quelque part, I'm bringing you back to something that I've already said. There's all kinds of way to rebel, to be on a rebellion. You don't have to rebel. You can all have all kinds of reasons, and there's so many ways. And that's a kind of way that he still hangs on to. Like he still shows that he is alive inside of that body that he is stuck in by changing what he is not supposed to change. So it's probably the last little thing that still lives in him. Anyway, that's the way I see it. Might be totally wrong. Again, it's only what I see that Okay, up next, we've got this shot. This is interesting. I think it's the first time that we actually see a TV show, and even more a newscast, a news broadcast. Donc, je pense que dans l'univers de Star Wars, c'est la première fois qu'on voit comme une chose à la télé. It's the first time that it's on TV, because we saw something similar in The Mandalorian. But it was, and also in Clone Wars, the animated series, on voit quelque chose de similaire, mais ce n'est pas à la télé en tant que tel. It's not on TV. It's called the Holo News. So it's like an hologram. So it's the first time that we see this. And what I like about this is that it actually looks a lot like the universe that Terry Gilliam does in his movies. I don't know if you guys know Terry Gilliam, but go check it out. This guy is crazy. He is one of the oh my god, the British band, not band, but the British group there, Monty Pythons. There you go. So he's one of the Monty Pythons, and he does a lot of movies, and he did a lot of movies, and his universe, like in Brazil, looks like this. So I thought it was interesting. Uh, so yeah, that's the news thing. Okay, so now we're at this guy. Who the hell is this guy? Well, this guy is a returning character, and of course they had to recast him. But if you've watched the Clone Wars and Rebels and other animated series, you've seen him before interact with Obi-Wan and Anakin and stuff. I've got a few pictures of him. Oh my God, it's gone. Let me fix this. There you go. Okay. So this guy is actually named Admiral Yularen. Yularen. Not Mandalorian, but Yularen. Or DeLorean. DeLorean, Mandalorian, Admiral Yularen. So this guy was actually in episode 4, and he is the only dude, I think, that is wearing white in episode 4 in A New Hope, and he is standing right here. Of course, this is not the same guy because this one is probably dead. If he's not dead, I hope he's on a lot of medication and he doesn't realize that he played in Star Wars, because this guy looks he looks at least 45. That's what I'm 48, so I mean I look better than him. So donc c'est ça, c'est un personnage qui revient, qu'on a déjà vu, ce personnage-là, et on peut même le reconnaître ici avec le nombre de petits carrés qu'il y a sur son uniforme. On voit ici, c'est le même nombre de petits carrés. Et c'était le seul personnage qu'on voyait en blanc. It was the only guy that was wearing white back in episode 4. So yeah, so this guy is Admiral Yularen. He was in episode 4. He was also in the Clone Wars. That's the same guy, if you remember, and if you watch the Clone Wars. And he is also in Rebels. He had appeared. He looks a little more like this guy. But anyway, you see the drill. Same code. A lot of little dots there. And he worked with Mr. Admiral Tron. So that's the returning character on this guy, 45 years old. And again, this is me. No, that's not me there. But I thought that was interesting because when he gives his speech, quand il donne son speech, il y a du monde assis en arrière qui n'était pas là avant et il porte du gris. There's people behind the other ones when he gives his speech there about the fact that he talked to the emperor and blah, blah, blah. And I love this guy. Again, my brain's not working regularly, correctly. But I thought that this actor actually looks like this guy. Can you see the let me, oh, look at this guy. Is he this one? Since they're sitting next to one another, is it something that they did on purpose? Because he really looks like this one, and this guy is actually called, that's the guy that Vader's choke in episode 4, and his name is Moti. Moti. Motti. Moti. So I thought it was interesting to see that I don't know, maybe it's the same guy. Anyway. Okay. But again, it's only my head. But it doesn't have the same tag on him. But since this is like 5 years later, you might have like won some red things in a Cracker Jack box or something. But anyway, he looks like this guy. Okay. Up next. Uh love this shot also. And I don't know if this is actually on purpose, but do you guys recognize this pattern inside the the room that is actually looks like a sphere? Well, I thought it was this. It looks like Epcot Center. Let me make sure that you can see this. Yeah, okay. So I thought well, ugh, it looks like Epcot Center. So is it something that they did on purpose? Like it feels like we're inside this thing. But again, Dave, there's no Dave here, man. Dave's not here, man. All right. Up next, we've got. Let me just see if I forgot something. No, okay, we're good. So we're back with Mon Mothma and him. This guy, forgot his name. Let me check. I got his name somewhere. Anyway, so we're back at his shop, and this is amazing because this actually looks like a crab or like a kind of a chicken. Yeah, it looks like chicken legs and chicken wings and whatever. But in fact, you guys probably know this is actually the mask of Plo Koon. There you go. So that's the mask of Plo Koon that he wears on his face. Donc ça, c'est le masque de Plo Koon. And it's kind of, I don't know, dark, because you guys know that he actually dies. Sorry, spoilers, but he dies in episode 5. Episode 5. In episode 3 during Order 66. Donc, il meurt pendant l'Ordre 66 et son vaisseau explose, tout ça. Fait que si c'est exactement le même, est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un qui est allé y arracher de la face pour le garder? Did someone just went over his dead body and ripped it off and sold it? I mean, yeah, we could collect stuff, but I would feel weird to have this in my collection if it was actually on his face. So yeah, I thought that was pretty weird. Okay, let me go check my friend here that is logged on something. We have a special visitor. Holy, I'm not worried. I didn't even catch that. Oh man, there's so many stuff that we cannot see everything. To do this, I always watch it at least twice, and I'm gonna watch it a third time with my girlfriend. So every time that I watch it, I always let me just plug this guy. Okay, sorry about that. There's so many stuff. There's so many Easter eggs, and again, there's so many things that I'm not even sure that I'm seeing things correct way. I would sit down with the makers of this show, and I would say, "Hey, you did this on purpose, right?" Oh my God, we did not even notice. So, with my I'm not gonna say training, but with my studies in movies and stuff, I was so pushed to see things that nowadays I think I see things that are not there. I need some therapy, but that might be kind of a therapy doing the vintage kids. I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, that's one thing that I'm sure that is right. That's really the mask of Plo Koon. So yeah. So why is it there? Is it like reproduction, or is it like a repro, or is it like it was not wear by a Jedi, or was not wear, since everything that is in this shop actually looks like something from Force users or planet, like the main galaxy big stories. I thought that was interesting. Okay. Anyway, next up, we've got this shot. Again, we've talked about this artifact. I'm not going to talk about it again. But over here, it's the first time that we actually see a Jedi Temple guard mask or helmet. It's actually these. And if you, once again, if you watch Rebels, and I think it's in Rebels and in Clone Wars, you see these guys and you learn that this one of these guys is actually the Grand Inquisitor. Spoiler alert! Vader is Luke's father. Spoiler alert! Yeah. So that's the mask that we actually see right here. Let me zoom in. There you go. It looks pretty much like this one or whatever. So Jedi Temple Guard. Okay. Up next. Let me check if I'm still, everything's okay here. Yeah. Okay, up next, we've got this guy. So we're back with Karn that is starting to work where his mother and his uncle wants them to work, not him. And again, this really feels like I've said earlier, it looks like Terry Gilliam stuff. Ça ressemble vraiment à ce que Terry Gilliam fait dans ses films. Mais aussi, ce que j'ai trouvé, c'est que ça ressemble énormément. Il y a un petit look TVA dans Loki. Il semble qu'il manquerait juste la grosse statue ici. Là. They would only miss like the giant statue right here. With all the floors. And also it made me think of 1984 from George Orwell, where you can find Big Brother stuff. So anyway, I thought that was interesting, and love also the fact that everyone's wearing gray, and this guy is like wearing brown, and he's always like not fitting in. And next up, we've got this shot where this mouse droid actually rolls on the floor, and instead of the mouse going beside him, Karn is actually moving away from a mouse droid. And I think I've never seen in Star Wars anyone move away from a mouse droid. These things are like fucking armless. Anyway, so since he's like in an interview, he doesn't want to mess up or whatever, but he moves away from this mouse droid. It also shows like his place. He feels lower than this mouse droid. So again, this is a way to show us, the viewers, how he doesn't fit in and he doesn't have confidence where he is right now. He doesn't want to do this. Donc, c'est intéressant parce que c'est la première fois, je pense, que je vois un mouse droid, quelqu'un se tasser sur un mouse droid. Mais aussi, ça démontre, c'est une métaphore énorme pour montrer à quel point il est où dans la hiérarchie. Il est comme en dessous de la mouse droid. Fait que ça, j'ai trouvé ça intéressant. Up next, we've got this shot where the girl that works with the assistant of Tarzan's dad there, little Dr. Doolittle, she actually sees this sign on the floor to find Val. So it made me thought. Oh yeah. Ça m'a fait penser. You guys are gonna have to learn French a little because sometimes my English is terrible. So ça m'a fait penser à ceci. Voilà. Of this shot in The Mandalorian. Well, it's not in The Mandalorian. It's actually in the Book of Boba Fett, episode 5, where Mando actually sees these signs to find his way to where he's going, because it's like a hideout. So it really feels the same. Like Val actually wrote down something on the floor that nobody is really gonna understand what it is, but it's the sign that you have to follow to find her. So that's interesting. After that, we've got this shot, and I'm not gonna talk about this girl that's her mission and what she's doing. I want to talk about this right here. I love the fact that the patterns are actually sideways. That's the pattern that we are used to see in Star Wars. As you guys can see, let me remove this. That thing. So the patterns are usually like not sideways. They're literally like going up and down, but they actually introduced a sideway pattern. I don't know. I don't recall seeing these sideways pattern before. I'm going to probably watch episode 4. Oh my God, they're everywhere on the Death Star. Well, they actually, yeah, they were sideways in Bespin on the steps of the carbon chamber. But anyway. So I love the fact that the patterns are actually like this. That's the only reason why I saved that picture. Okay, up next, now the girls are actually meeting, and there's a really cool thing about this is that I've been talking about the middle class, high class, low class on Coruscant, and you can actually see there's another way that you can see, not only by where they're living, but by what they are actually wearing. When she's going to meet her, she's like in the metro or whatever, in subway, and everyone's like well dressed. It actually feels like workers that are going to work, just like in our regular world. Donc, c'est intéressant que la classe des gens sur Coruscant est aussi pas juste basée sur où est-ce qu'ils restent dans les buildings, mais aussi par rapport à ce qu'ils portent. Et c'est intéressant parce qu'on peut faire une grande comparaison avec ce que les gens portent sur les planètes. Où est-ce que les gens sur les plus petites planètes portent? C'est tout du linge sale, du linge comme... Tu sais, ça a l'air être comme... T'as l'air à vivre dans la poussière en masse. Il n'y a pas beaucoup de monde qui font le ménage. You can actually see the difference between what they are actually wearing and what the people on different planets are actually wearing. It's like dusty but on Coruscant, there's no dust. Everything is clean. Everything's like spick and span. And love the difference that you actually see in Val as her dressed up as a Coruscant civilian, and what she is actually in the prior episode. She doesn't even look the same, and that's the cue, and that's the way to do it. So I really thought it was very cool to see the use of the what people are wearing to show the status, and it's that also in real life. But well done, Star Wars. Well done, George. Well, it's not George. Oh my God, did I forgot to click on something? Okay, there you go. So, up next, we've got this. I thought this is also interesting because it's a different kind of speeder bike. So we are so used now to see the speeder bikes from Return of the Jedi. On est tellement habitué de voir les speeder bikes de Retour du Jedi que les Scout Troopers utilisent. On les a revus dans les autres séries aussi. Ils nous en ont présenté un dans Solo. On les revoit aussi là-dedans. Mais là, c'est cool. C'est comme il a l'air tout décrissé, là. Tu sais, ça a l'air comme quasiment fait maison, là. So it's fun to see a different type of a speeder, and it really looks like it was built up from scratch. So that's interesting. Also, it's fun that they actually like for ships. I mean, all the ships are not the same, so all the speeders should not all be the same. Okay, the reason why I I took this shot now is because the sound that he actually makes on the metal is a sound that I actually used to call my cat. Can you believe this? Uh, because you guys are going to say I'm crazy, but my cat doesn't sleep with us. They have their own place for the night. They sleep in a room, different room. And when I call them, when I go to sleep, I do talk, 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 talk. And it's funny because he does exactly the tack, 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 but he doesn't do the response, tack, tack. Anyway, so that was the reason why I thought it was worth telling. But also, you can see that I was talking about the difference between Coruscant and other planets. I mean, look at this. This is rusty. It's dirty. The walls are actually falling apart. So that's what I was saying. The wearing the clothing is different, and the environment is different. Anyway, so tac 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 tac. Up next. Love also the fact that in the flashback, Cashin actually sees him as an old guy, well, as a now guy. C'est intéressant parce que là, il se voit dans le flashback comme étant un adulte, mais en réalité, il était encore un enfant quand ça s'est arrivé. He was still a kid when this happened. And it actually mirrors the one that I explained during episode whatever, when he leaves with Lethal, you know, Tarzan's father there, the guy from Chernobyl. He's in Chernobyl. Yeah, he is. Anyway, he probably doesn't survive. So it's same kind of flashback when he was looking at his mother and he was seeing his mother living the flashback at the same time, and we could actually see him as an old person. Well, not an old person, but nowadays Cassian, against the fact that he was a kid when his adoptive mother, well, his kidnapper, actually took him away from Canary. So I thought it was well made, but for people that are like, what the hell's going on? Where is he? I totally understand it could be hard to understand. I understand that it could be hard to understand. See? Donc, je peux comprendre que c'est dur à comprendre. Donc, mais c'est quand même intéressant. Je trouve que c'est bien pensé qu'il se voit dans son flashback. Il se sent là. He actually feels like he's there again. Also, that's another thing that is interesting. It's the fact that these are not stormtroopers. These are actually clone troopers. So that means that the Emperor and the Empire did not switch to, well, not yet, or they did not all change the stormtroopers from clones. So this was probably not long after Order 66. And again, we can see them better right here. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Love the fact that these guys over here actually looks like Death Star. Yeah. Anyway, again, see, I did not see that before, and now I'm seeing things. Also, this looks like the Rebellion logo, but it also looks like a Death Star shooting something. But it also could look like a head. Dave's not here, man. So anyway, love the fact that we actually see clones and clone troopers, and these are not stormtroopers. So love that little detail. Okay, up next. Dave's not here, man. Now we're okay. Let me go check my knock flashback. Miami Vice shot. So love the thing that they actually use the Miami Vice intro. The music feels 80s synthesizers, and I mean, I was expecting to see Don Johnson or at least Magnum PI driving around in his Ferrari. But no, it's not. But it really feels like Magnum PI with the birds. Well, I don't recall if there's birds in the Miami Vice shot. But anyway, or even see Phil Collins on the beach selling drugs. So that's an interesting thing. Miami Vice, and the city or the planet is called Niamos, Miami. There's almost all the letters. So Somain. Anyway, there's probably something to see there. Love this shot. Love how it feels like we're at a resort. I don't know, in Cuba or in République Dominicaine, but also feels like Miami on the beach. And this shape of a building right here really feels like in Disney World in Orlando. There's buildings shaped like this also. Anyway, the only thing is that there's no one. There's actually no one sitting down here. And in a few minutes, I just realized that a few minutes later, there's tons of people on the beach. But maybe they're all at the all-you-can-eat buffet. Okay. Next up. This. So Cashin is actually hiding. Oh, there's a face right here. Yeah, a little face. Cashin is actually hiding his money, and there's a gun and stuff, blah, blah, blah. And what I loved is the fact that he is actually using credits like these. And these were the credit that he created for the Mandalorian credit collection. Voila. So funny thing that they are actually using the same credit that they created for toys. So I thought that was a great detail. We don't see that very long. It lasts a few seconds, but there it is. Same thing. Same thing. Up next, we have it's not K2SO. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's K2SO. Well, it's probably not him. Because why? Because they actually created a comic book where they tell the story how K2SO becomes Cash-in friends. So I think it was like a little wink, c'est comme un hommage K2SO to bring him and also see him work as what he is supposed to do for the Empire, because we don't really see him really working for the Empire in Rogue One. We see a few of them, but they're just walking around. But like we really see that this guy is actually like a doorman. So anyway, you can see him do his job. So I thought that was interesting. Next up, we see the girl that is like giving the sentence to Cashin, and she's actually using a old vintage credit card machine, just like this one. So I thought that was interesting. So I'm not saying it's the same. This one has been like painted and stuff, but it's the chicka chick thing that we used to see back in the 70s and the 80s and even in the early 90s. And maybe some stores still use these. But it's the same thing. It's the same machine. So I love the fact that they are actually using old technologies from the 70s and the 80s. Exactly like George did in a way in episode 4, like old rusty stuff. All this kind of technology feels Star Wars. Not with that color, but you know what I mean. Fait que j'aime le fait qu'ils utilisent vraiment plein de props qui vient comme des années 70-80. Il faut prendre en considération, nous autres, on va les reconnaître parce qu'on les a vécus en tant qu'enfants, mais pour des gens plus jeunes qui n'ont pas connu ça, ils voient ça, ils font aïe, c'est vraiment fucké, ça, chick, tu sais, c'est quoi, là? Tu sais, des enfants qui ne savent même pas comment appeler qu'un téléphone à roulette. Man, we're getting old. Some kids don't even know how to use a old vintage phone. What the hell is this, man? Hello. So you can see those videos on YouTube. It's really funny. Up next, we've got this old thing, and at the end of this episode, we actually see our friend here sitting at his new job, wearing gray and watching at the security camera. And you can actually feel that he is not at his place. He doesn't feel at his place at all. Love the fact that they're actually doing work on two computers at the same time. It's like they have two arms, so two hands, so they can do the work on two computers. So like the Empire is like, all right, man, you've got two arms, two hands, do two jobs at the same time. Donc j'ai vraiment aimé cette shot-là. Et encore une fois, on voit à quel point que il est obligé de rentrer dans le moule. He still has to go in and follow the rules and the rules of her mother. And he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't like the job. That's not what he wants to do. And we'll see in episode 8 what I'm talking about. And we'll talk about it more eventually. So, guys, that's it, man. So it's been almost an hour, but I've been through everything I wanted to talk about. Next week, we'll talk about something else, something new. Once again, if you have any suggestions, if you have any comments on this show, if you want to be part of the Vintage Kids, just let me know. If you want to talk about something, be our guest, be my guest. So I wish everyone a great week. Get ready for Christmas because you're going to see that it will be around the corner pretty quickly. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer. Si vous avez des questions, des suggestions, vous pouvez toujours communiquer avec moi. And as I always say every week, be good, be safe, be wild, be you. Bonne semaine tout le monde. On se revoit la semaine prochaine. Faites attention à vous autres, là. Allez pas trop vite sur les internets. Bye, là.